Hitman 2-3, this is Hitman 2-2, over.
Hitman 2-2, you're coming in weak and unreadable. Try cleaning your handset. Try again.
Hitman 2-3, this is Hitman 2-2, how you read me now?
2-3 has you loud and clear. Out.
Hitman 2-3, this is Hitman 2-2, over.
Roger, I got your
ready to pop the phone. Please fill me in on your situation. Alright. Calm down, buddy. We're gonna be down here. We're not gonna lie. Calm down, property form. Don't hold. The second foot's coming down. And if nobody can do it, these guys can do it. So just relax and be cool, okay? No, I'm all right now. I was just yelling because I couldn't. There's too much ordnance going on. You were taking the first stop was taking heavy ground fire, and there's 6 more people on the ground. The next stop would take 6. Over.
Hi, my name's George Mayne. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served in Vietnam in 1969 to 1970 in both B and A squadrons as a tank driver. I applied for a grant through Saluting Service through DVA, and I was awarded some money to get a documentary together to record tank crews in Vietnam, in particular my tank crew that I served with. I've contacted the lads and I'm looking forward to catching up with them. This will be the very start of the documentary. We've got to get the guys together. I've got one chap in Melbourne, one chap in Port Macquarie, and another one in northern New South Wales in the Hunter Valley area. So I'm looking forward to catching up with them. I've got to send them out some emails and some contact details, and we've got a media company organised to give us a hand, and we've actually located the very tank that we crewed in Vietnam, tank number 169043, and that's at a place called Molong in northern New South Wales out near Orange, and it's the original tank that we drove in Vietnam. This chap has bought it and it's in full working condition, so I'm looking forward to having that as part of the documentary, but it'll be a surprise for the other guys because they're not aware of this tank. And that's the whole idea of this documentary, get all the guys together, meet them here in Sydney, and then film ourselves on our journey up there. And we're also going to include our wives, because they were young gals at the time, and either girlfriends or wives of us when we were young boys at 19, heading off to Vietnam. So I'm looking forward to it. Our first trip will be to Melbourne to pick up Gary, who is was our operator. And then it'll be Mick Payne, who's at Port Macquarie. He was the gunner, I was the driver, and one of the crew commanders unfortunately is over in West Australia, not in good health, but another chap that was a crew commander is called Pedro Rosemond, and he was in one of the tanks that I drove as well. So he's one of our crew commanders, and he's going to join us as well. So I'm looking forward to it all.
So I was just thinking, how does it feel going to meet these guys for the first time after 50 odd years?
I've been thinking about the police up here. I've been thinking about that, but I don't know. I just don't know how I'm going to react, to be truthful. I guess one part of me is excited, another part of me is not quite sure what's going to happen or what we're going to say. I'm not afraid of anything. Getting closer to Gary's place now. Mick's quite excited. Mick's almost having an orgasm over all
So
this.
on Facebook this morning.
Did you see the picture of the three of us sitting there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that on Australian DVD about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like made years ago.
Yeah.
The only blokes we knew really were our troop.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
everyone else was out, we were in.
Yeah.
And they'd come in, we'd be out. So
Yeah.
I went to a reunion in 2005, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think I've still got the t-shirt
Yeah.
and the cap. And Mick was there, I think.
Mhm.
And that colours hair. He had white hair then.
Yeah.
But I didn't know many people because
Mm.
they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, out like Sludge Irie, Ilya Tararic.
Cole Milner was this guy's
Oh,
name,
yeah.
but just came to me then.
Yeah.
Cole Milner.
Yeah.
Uh,
So when did you come home? I came home in May.
I got over there in December '69, and I came back in November '70.
Yeah.
Right. So when I first got there, I was driving for Johnny Keys. His name was Corporal Keys, and then what I found is that when I was driving, as lead tank all the time, because you're new boy in country, you
Yeah.
get to drive the lead tank.
Yeah.
And after hitting my first mine and doing a few things, and then driving over all these saplings and crushing them all down, I thought there's got to be a better spot to do this. And at that time, the troop sergeant was Blue Toomey, and his driver was going back to Australia. So I thought, oh, it'd be better at the back of the queue than at the front of the queue, you know.
Yeah.
So I said to the troop leader then, it was Lieutenant Meredith before Chris Prickett took over, I said, do you mind if I drive for the sergeant, 1 Alpha? And he said, well, you need to go and speak to Blue. If he's happy to have you on board, you can do that. So I went to drive for Blue Toomey, but what I didn't realise, of course, is that when you're driving, you're knocking all the saplings down that way, but you're the last tank. When you've got to come back, they're all facing you and hitting the road wheels and all this kind of stuff. So I soon learned a lesson there. But yeah, back to reunions. Mick had organised the table, so we had all the one troop guys together on the table. And is it Chinko?
Mick Cherenko.
Yeah, he was there.
KGB, yeah.
And he doesn't look a day older.
I know.
He looks the same.
I know that prick. I
know.
Last time, Angela
Yeah.
Day, I didn't go last
Yeah.
time because I couldn't move.
Yeah,
But he looks the same.
I know.
I couldn't believe it, yeah.
I sit at the table and I'm thinking, mate, you haven't changed in 50 years. You
Yeah.
look just the same.
But he wouldn't go back to we used to go back to a pub
Yeah.
after the march. And
Yeah.
that's the last time I saw John Horton. We walked
Yeah.
back together from the shrine
Yeah,
to this pub in South Melbourne. I think. But
Yeah.
once again, Murray Betts come down, Henry
Yeah.
Pollis.
Yeah, yeah.
We sit together.
Henry's
I mean,
passed on now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I talked to Murray on the emails all the time. I was getting up at Bendigo this
Yeah.
Anthony, I was a
Yeah.
bit sore. But I'm getting emails from Murray, always in touch.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
I see him on Facebook occasionally. We're friends on Facebook,
Yeah.
Murray and I. But he was a nice guy,
Yeah.
very nice guy. The Navy Club down there, you could pay accommodation, it wasn't very much,
Yeah.
and you could sleep overnight in a clean bed. And on the way back he said, oh, I'm too tired, can you drive this MGB for me? I said, oh yeah, I'd love to. He said, but don't take it over 80 kilometres an hour because the bonnet pops up. Of course, what did I do? I drive it over 80 kilometres an hour just to see if the bonnet would pop up, you know. And anyhow, I hadn't seen him for years, and he was at the reunion. He came up to me and he said, I remember you. He said, you drove my car, blah, blah, blah. And we got talking. I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I'm not really big on reunions,
Same here.
to be truthful.
People in our troop
Yeah,
and the bunch of people when we're in,
Yeah.
and then we're gone again, and
Yeah.
they're out now.
yeah, exactly.
So that's it. I don't go to any, well, I go when I can't afford it.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I live pension to pension these days. All the money
Yeah.
went on step parachute.
yeah,
And a few women serving down the tube years ago.
yeah.
That's why I'm renting a house, living in luxury. That's life.
It's not a bad house to live in.
It's an old, it's owned by 3 Italian ladies from Werribee South.
Yeah,
One of them is one of the richest ladies in Australia.
yeah,
The brothers took her to court because one of them only got 61 million in the will, it wasn't enough. The father owned the biggest potato farm in Australia in Swan Hill years ago. They're all put big money down there.
Yeah.
3 of them own this place.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a lease. I had to push it. Because of the way the finance, if I'm going to get a boot, I'm bugging where I'm going to go. My time of life. But I've got in 12 months, or next March, I think, next year.
That's right. You a TPI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a while to get that.
Yeah.
Took a while, but I had Peter Leishman. He was a bee wheelie at one stage, rather. Yeah. And he helped me because he's a listener.
Yeah.
And they went to court over it.
Yeah.
Finally got it.
Yeah.
Oh, they mucked me around. All these blokes, when I got close to getting it, this bloke I was seeing at DVA passed the buck to someone else. And it pretty much started all over again.
Yeah.
But a bloke, it was at a party, and I was standing back. Everyone's getting the food, and this bloke walked up and said, "You're a Vietnam, but aren't you?" I said, "How do you know?" So I can tell. Well, looking at you. He was out of this Porky 7 runner.
Yeah.
And he helped me with all the paperwork.
Oh,
Went from there, yeah.
Well, I do. Well, I'm a president of our sub branch at Hornsby, and we've got a couple of hundred members there. And I'm also president of a wellbeing centre that I've opened up, Veterans Wellbeing Centre at Hornsby.
You've seen that on your Facebook thing,
Yeah. My boy's been helping me get all the Facebook stuff together and website stuff together. But I've done that because it's a long story, but the sub branch can't incorporate, and because we're having a lot of issues at RSL New South Wales, and it all goes back to the Bergen inquiry we had a couple of years ago, where the previous management weren't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So now we have a board, and then the board are there for governance, and then we have a president and different people as well. So to get DVA grants and things, you've got to be an incorporated association, right? So then I formed this Veterans Wellbeing Centre as kind of like a shell company, so I could get all these grant applications and still use RSL New South Wales as part of the credibility for the whole thing, right? Anyhow, it's all working, so that's how we started getting all this. And then I'm also secretary of what we call the District President's Council. So each of the districts has a president. There's 23 districts in New South Wales, so I'm on that board as well, which just helps me keep my finger on the pie, because a lot of things I do could be very close to conflict of interest. So I've just got to be careful how I travel, you know. So it's nice to have one foot in one camp to see what's happening.
What I did learn years out with DVA, this bloke helped me see one wrong word, and you start over again, and it's out of place, I'll jump on that. Worded precisely. Precisely the way they want it.
Exactly. Well, I'm not TPI. Fortunately, I've been pretty good health-wise, but I've got my gold card. But I had to wait until I was 70 to actually get my gold card. But I help veterans now, Afghan veterans and Iraqi veterans in particular, to get gold cards and their pensions and all that kind of stuff now. And I was lucky enough to be asked to speak at the National Congress for Lifeline a little while ago. And it was all the CEOs of different lifelines in Australia. And they wanted to talk about veterans in particular. I've started a veterans program with Lifeline at Gordon, which is one of our suburbs. And it's been going really well. Lifeline, particularly a program for veterans, serving veterans as well as discharged veterans. So we got that going, and then I went to speak to them, and then I said, well, they said, well, how hard is it to fill these forms in? I said, well, I'll give you an example of how hard it is. I said, I had to apply for a pension. So recently I wanted to upgrade my pension, right? So I said, when you get the form down, this is difficult for young men and women as well, because one particular section says what contacts were you in, right? And then I had to start recalling, you know, the battle of this and the battle of that, and write them down. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. What if I was a current young man or woman from Afghanistan and Iraq trying to write down all these battles, you know, and where you fought and what you did? I said, it's going to make people recall things, you know, and bad things. I said, and one of the questions is, I said, you know, I wrote down Operation Hammersley and the Long Highs, and then another section says, you know, what was the outcome, or something, what was the outcome, or what could be the outcome, or possible outcome of the conflict? And I wrote, fucking dead, you know, and they said, you can't say that. And I said, well, I have, because I said, that's what could happen to you, you know, and said, these young blokes and women have got to write all this down. You know, I was in the Battle of so-and-so in Afghanistan, and what contact were you in? And I said, it's making people relive everything again, you know. Anyhow, what do you got here?
originals in the museum, the museum.
Yeah.
It was on blue paper.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got hold of it. We're using it back up as a...
Yeah.
Well, in stores for a card game. We're not supposed to have this. You can keep it, I got it. You can keep it if you want. Just how close we were to getting biffed.
This is us.
That's us.
Oh.
2 near misses by the turret RPG, so we're lucky to be here, really.
Well, there you go.
That's yours. Take it with you.
Okay. Well, this is me at the back, I hope.
One alpha. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 near misses, it says.
Yeah. I don't remember half this stuff, you know.
No. There's gaps. You've heard certain things, but there's definite gaps.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know whether... Okay, it's another thing I belong to is called a men's table, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether you know how that works,
No.
but there's 12 men get together, right? And it's all over Australia. And I went along to this men's table to see if it would be good for some of my veterans. It's just men only, and you talk, right? So there's 12 of you just sit around the table, all different walks of life, and you have one person kind of in charge, and he just says, okay, who wants to start? And you just start talking about whatever it might be. And no one else interrupts you, no one offers any comments, no one does anything. I just say, well, you know, I've got some issues, you know, I've got my son who's, you know, terminally ill with cancer, blah, 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 and this is some of my issues that I've got, you know. And I talk about it, and then I can ask for assistance or something, but generally we don't, and then it might be your turn. Gary, what do you got to say? You know, how's your month been? We meet once a month for 2 hours, we have a bit of a meal and a glass of wine. And you might say, well, you know, things have been pretty good at work, you know, however, the missus and I aren't going too well at the moment, you know, and you just talk about things, you know. So I found that was quite good, but then the last meeting we had was only a little while ago, last Wednesday night, and they're saying to me, well, how's you going? And I said, well, yeah, we're going all right, I'm getting this documentary ready. I said, well, how's it going to affect you? I said, well, it's starting to affect me already. I said, I'm starting to have dreams. And I'm starting to recall some of the things that I'd kind of shoved in the back of my mind years ago and had them locked away, you know, and I just keep moving forward without coming back thinking about things, you know. But I said it's starting to come up again, you know, I'm starting to think about things. And so this men's table thing, you just start talking, you know, but then you start to recall some things, like, you know, things like this I've forgotten totally about, you know, total. Anyhow. Crazy.
So what exactly is the document?
It's a contact report.
Yeah.
After the battle, see, just to write out a thing, and I don't know how I ended up with it. On blue paper. The army and their wisdom put on a different size paper than everyone else. It was blue. I had copy it, cut it down to size.
So for those people watching this who are not ADF, contact report.
After battle.
So this is a report that's written up by who?
Okay, this is written by the troop leader, Second Lieutenant Chris Prickett. So we've obviously been in contact, as they call it, fighting the baddies, shooting and killing and dying.
274 Regiment, I think it was.
Yeah, and so at the end of each contact, the troop leader has to do a report. He sends back into headquarters to explain what's going on. It builds up the intel, as they call it, the intelligence on the baddies and what you've been doing as well. And then it's signed off by the OC, which is Major Jan Chipman. So the Major says, a well-executed infantry tank action with excellent fire discipline. This action illustrates the need for tanks to have a clearance to advance and fire into a bunker complex. The infantry should remain to the flanks and rear of the tanks, providing protection from RPG attacks from these directions. Close follow-up action is to destroy any remaining enemy in the bunkers, and to occupy the complex is required as the danger of booby traps suggests. Search teams, engineers and infantry be organised to contact booby trap check before full search begins. Excuse me. So the troop leader would write about the contact and what happened and what didn't happen, and then you go from there.
So this states that you guys came very close to a hit, or being hit.
We didn't know at the time, we were closed down.
Yeah.
I was holding the thing, Mick's banging away with a canister, and Billy Ice up there, and a few blacks on the machine gun putting his head down. I remember after the contact got dark, and I'd arranged the picket thing over, and they were just there somewhere.
Yeah.
And we were here, we didn't know what's going to happen here, we get shitting themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we, next year we sort of cleaned up. I remember the bit after the battle, go out of range.
Because what normally happens, because we've trained so hard for so long before you get there, when the shit hits the fan, everything just goes into automatic, really.
Yeah.
So I still can't even remember it. I'd have to sit down and really think back at it. But if we were closed down, I would have had the hatches right over. Yeah. And for me, it would have sounded like someone with a bloody sledgehammer going bang, bang, bang on the side and all the cordite fumes. But for me, it was easy because I used to drive. But I think the bloke that used to work the hardest would have been Gary, because you had to load and you had machine guns.
Yeah. I think one of them jammed a bit for 30 cal.
Yeah.
Get going.
Yes, that's a hard job. As I said to Mick the other day, because we've only really got back to talking again after the last reunion. We haven't had a lot of time together really. So we're starting to talk again, and I just said to him, I just really didn't think about it when I was over there, but now it must have been awfully hot for you sitting in that turret all day.
Yeah. All
day.
Hot and wet, hot and dry.
Yeah.
Sweat,
yeah.
Whatever you like.
It's right for you, because you could have got up a bit.
Yeah, I could sit up top, yeah.
Yeah, and
when I went to country, I was down the hole.
Yeah.
And for some reason they would have Mick was a better gun, I was a better operator, and I ended up pretty well Chris Prickett's operator, because his operator was a bloke called Whippet Thatcher. He was coming home, and the boss's operator, Dave, somebody, country boy, top bloke, but not a radio man. Yeah. So Prickett's give me these 25 cents, and you can do this and do that.
So you ended up on the boss's tank?
No, I was troop operator from Alpha, because Dave wasn't real good on the radio, and obviously when we were in the Horseshoe, Mick had bugger I have a chat somewhere, and I'm sitting there with blah blah, yes, the boss's boy coming in, boss, Niner's on his way, and blah, I talked to Niner, yes, I'm fetching sun, rain, all this sort of stuff. And I was sort of the main operator at that stage. And I was nearly going to sign on, because I was pretty good at the job.
You were?
I thought. And I couldn't do it. I went to see the 2OC. I'd like to sign on. So he said, well, let's distribute. You have to go back to Australia, get discharged, re-enlist. I said, you're kidding. He said, that's what I said. I couldn't just sign on and stay there. But he thought it was stupid too. Yeah. But when I got back and I'd get out.
Well, that might have been the way it was in those days.
Yeah, it might have changed. Could have changed now. Yeah. But I was having a good time, roughly.
Well, were you at the Horseshoe? Were we at the Horseshoe together?
Yeah, we were there for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, at the Horseshoe, Mick and I were building furniture. Yeah. Were you there then? I think we only ever did one run at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, I was there one night because we weren't shaving, and the boss came out. Chip and said, "You blokes aren't." I was sorry, sir. Bullshit. Sorry. I do the squapartus. I've requested raises. The last two squapartus haven't been forthcoming. Perhaps you might have a word of queue. It was all bullshit. You might have a word of queue, so we can't get raised. We just decided to not shave.
That's right.
And I got away with it.
But I'm pretty sure we're all together at that Horseshoe, and Mick and I had found some old pallets, and we made a couple of wooden chairs things to sit in.
I think I remember that. Right,
vaguely. But what I didn't like was the rats that used to be over there. They're big as bloody dogs, these rats.
Yeah, I was only Horseshoe once. I remember
we've only been there once. Yeah. But I remember Billy High sleeping underneath the 100-gallon fuel tank, and a rat fell on top of him. Yeah. Because that was an old Arvin area, and it was filthy and rotten, and there was rats everywhere, and I hate rats. And I can remember we were sleeping in the tank or on the tank or around the tank or something, because we didn't want to go sleeping on the ground with all these rats. And I can remember Bill slinging a crowbar out over the 100-gallon fuel tank and having his sleeping bag or underneath or hammock under here, and the rats are running through the tanks, and I couldn't sleep for probably the whole week we were there, just about these rats. And one jumped off the 100-gallon fuel tank and landed in his bed, and I remember him screaming and yelling, and he's so close to the 100-gallon fuel tank he couldn't get out quick enough with these rats. Oh mate, I hate those rats. Yeah, that was a Horseshoe.
Yeah.
And that was around about the time I think I broke the bridge. Were you with me then when I got the tank stuck on the bridge? The bridge collapsed underneath me. It's an old Bailey bridge.
I think so, and I think I got on the DVD, which I'll show you in a few minutes. And I was sitting there thinking,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because the engineers said to us, "It's safe." So it was 52 tons. Just don't pull your stick. So what do?
Yeah.
Pull the stick and drop the bloody bottom out. And we were there for a couple of days, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
And the locals had to walk up over the tank.
Yeah.
Was the only way they could get over the bridge and down again.
I've got pictures of it.
Yeah. Gee, that's going back a while, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a DVD, which I'll show you in a minute.
Yep, lovely.
That's your copy.
Yep.
Turned out I sent my slides away to somebody years and years ago. Somebody wanted, was it Trevor Hyde? Somewhere in Mount Gambier.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was. I sent him a line. I've still got them there, which are at your disposal.
Yeah.
And he sent back that DVD. I didn't nothing to do with it. Got fairly shocking. It's Gary's time in Vietnam, but you're on it. Billy Heiss is there, Mick's on there.
I told you I tracked down Billy Heiss. I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
So I got onto our association, the Armoured Regiment Association. The secretary's called Russ James. And I said to Russ, you got any idea about Bill? Bill's real name is Edward.
Oh, yeah.
Edward Heiss.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that. So he said, I can't find a Bill anywhere. I'm looking everywhere for this Bill. And he said, but I've got an Edward Heiss. And I said, well, it could be him. And I said, I thought he might have been bloody dead by now. And he said, no. He's had a lot of problems with drink and drugs. And he's living in Western Australia and he's still alive. And apparently he's not much older than us. I was quite surprised.
No, he's a fairly young sergeant.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we were 19 or 20. Well, you were a bit older than me.
I was 21.
Yeah, because you were Nasho.
Yeah.
So we were... I think he gave me his birth date. He's probably... I'm 72. I think he's like 76. So he must have been an awfully young sergeant.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And
I'm 75 this year.
Yeah, he had 2 tours.
Yeah.
He was over there with 2CAV apparently.
Oh, yeah.
And then us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things you learn.
I'll make up a DVD when you're ready and you can have a look. But
well,
that's your copy, you can take it with you. If you want to give the other boys copies, feel free.
All right. Well,
I had nothing to do with making it, I just turned up with it when he had the slides back there, I guess.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it was Trevor Hyde, I think.
Yeah, no, name
rings a bell.
Yeah.
I was like, that's 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Well, that sort of, never heard him. There wasn't much of a choice there.
Yeah.
That's one on, a heavy rocker, back in its day.
So how many you got here now?
Haven't counted them for a while. Well, boy.
Couple of grand?
I suppose so, there's more down there. And that's the junk ones. And sometimes people give me stuff. I won't play anymore, so I do. 3 turntables there, 3 systems. So I don't know what's good and what's good. I wash them.
Do you go out looking for them? Or do you go online at all?
Sometimes I get online. There's a couple of shops. There's one in Geelong I go to. It's second-hand stuff. You still have lost brand new. You can still get. I'm still changing, looking.
Incredible.
Handy these things.
Yep. Okay, Gary, it's been great to catch up with you again after all this time.
Same, George.
Right, you haven't changed a bit.
No, I think I have. I'm now an old fat guy.
Right, you're same as me, you're old. But don't forget, tomorrow morning we'll be around about 10 to pick you up, and we'll go up to Sydney and we'll see all the guys.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it, and it should be a good fight. All right?
Will be. Great, George.
Okay, nice to see you. See you tomorrow, mate.
Ready? Just give me a second.
How you doing, Karen? Pleased to meet you. Come to take you on a good adventure.
Karen?
We are.
This is Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Have a great time, guys.
Well, it's a bit unusual because I haven't seen this guy for 50 odd years, and
It's pretty wonderful.
I didn't say it wasn't wonderful. I just haven't spoken to him for 50 odd years. So this is all part of the big documentary.
Let's check it out.
Yes, well,
Yep,
that's fantastic.
Perfect.
Hang on. Your DVDs.
Yep.
It's
DVD.
okay.
Yeah, mate, perfect. You've got to be as you are. That's how we want it.
This is great.
I wouldn't have thought after all these years we'd be doing this.
It's fantastic. It's great to see you.
Come on, Gary, we're heading off. Got all your gear? Say goodbye to your darling. Goodbye, man.
Good time, darling.
Yeah.
Take care, yeah?
Yeah, we'll call you on the way. Thank
Take
you very
care.
much. Come on, guys. Watch where you're walking. Okay, let's go to the truck.